Hello everyone and welcome to our channel Mootechie. It's wonderful to have you here as we dive into the fascinating world of milk, its composition, its properties, and the science that makes it such a unique and vital substance. Let's get started. Now, let's begin by understanding what milk is from a legal standpoint. Legally, milk is defined as the whole, fresh, clean lacteal secretion obtained by the complete milking of one or more healthy milch animals. Importantly, this excludes the milk obtained 15 days before or 5 days after calving or any other period necessary to make sure the milk is practically free from colostrum. And finally, it must contain the legally prescribed minimum percentage of fat and solids not fat, often abbreviated as SNF. Moving forward, let's see how a major body like the US Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, defines milk. According to the FDA, milk is the lacteal secretion practically free from colostrum obtained by the complete milking of one or more healthy cows. Now, this milk may be clarified, and it may be adjusted by separating out some of the fat. The definition also includes concentrated milk, reconstituted milk, and dry whole milk. And importantly, water can be added in sufficient quantity to reconstitute these concentrated and dry forms back into liquid milk. Now let's look at milk from a purely chemical perspective. Chemically, milk is a complex substance where its components exist in different physical states. The fat is present in the form of an emulsion. The protein and some mineral matter are in the colloidal state. And the lactose, along with some minerals and soluble proteins, is in the form of a true solution. Let's visualize this with the structure of milk. At first glance, with our own eyes, milk is an opaque white liquid. But when we magnify it about 1,000 times, we can see it as a fat emulsion, with tiny fat globules suspended throughout. Zooming in even further, to 10,000 times magnification, we see a casein suspension. This is where we find the casein micelles and the fat globules in more detail. So the structure is a fascinating hierarchy of an emulsion, a suspension, and a solution, all in one. So to bring that structure to life, here is a full description of what milk is made of. First, it's an emulsion of milk fat globules. These globules contain the milk lipids, the fat-soluble vitamins, and some other components. Second, it's a colloidal suspension. This includes the casein micelles, which themselves contain casein proteins, calcium, phosphate, citrate, and even water. This suspension also includes globular proteins and lipoprotein particles. And third, it's a solution. This is where we find the lactose, the soluble proteins, minerals, vitamins, acids, enzymes, and all the other components dissolved in the water. Now, why do mammals produce milk? Let's talk about milk secretion. All species of mammals secrete milk for two primary reasons. The first is to provide all the nutrients required for the optimum growth of the newborn. The second is to provide immunity, protecting the newborn from some common diseases. It's interesting to note that the development of the young varies greatly across species. Because of this, the composition of the milk also varies significantly, depending entirely on the specific nutritional needs of the young one. To give you some context, let's look at the scientific names for some milk-producing species. For western cows, the scientific name is Bos taurus. For zebu cows, it's Bos indicus. The water buffalo is Bubulus bubulis. Goat is Capra hircus. Sheep is Ovis aries. And of course, humans are Homo sapiens. Now let's get into the specifics with a detailed table on the approximate composition of western cow milk. On average, cow milk contains about 87.3% water, with a range from 85.5 to 88.7%. Solids not fat average is 8.8%, ranging from 7.9 to 10.0%. On a dry matter basis, that's 69%. Fat in dry matter averages 31%, with a wide range from 21 to 38%. Lactose averages 4.6%, ranging from 3.8 to 5.3. On a dry matter basis, that's 36%. Fat averages 3.9%, from 2.4 to 5.5%. On a dry matter, that's 31%. Protein averages 3.25%, from 2.3 to 4.4%. On a dry matter basis, that's 26%. Casein, which is a major part of that protein, averages 2.6%, from 1.7 to 3.5%. That's 20% on a dry matter basis. Mineral substances average 0.65%, from 0.53 to 0.80%. That's 5.1% on a dry matter basis. Organic acids average 0.118%, which is 1.4% on a dry matter basis. And miscellaneous components average 0.14% or 1.1% on a dry matter basis. This data is sourced from the classic text Dairy Chemistry and Physics by Weistra and Jennes from 1984. So how does milk from different species compare? Let's explore the differences. Buffalo and sheep milk have the maximum fat content. The fat percent in goat milk is quite similar to that of cow milk. Interestingly, the variation in protein percent among species is generally less dramatic. Now, human milk stands out. It has a higher percentage of both lactose and fat, but a lesser percentage of protein and ash content compared to other species. When we look at the energy supplied by the milk, it is highest in buffalo and sheep milk. The difference in energy content is much less between the milk from the remaining species, like cow, goat, and human. Let's solidify this with a comprehensive table showing the composition of milk from different animal species. For humans, water is 87.1%, fat is 4.5%, casein is 0.4%, whey proteins are 0.5%, lactose is 7.1%, ash is 0.2%, and it provides 72 kilocalories per 100 grams. For cows, water is 87.3%, fat is 3.9%, casein is 2.6%, whey proteins are 0.6%, lactose is 4.6%, ash is 0.7%, energy is 66 kilocalories. For zebu cows, water is 86.5%, fat is 4.7%, casein is 2.6%, whey proteins are 0.6%, lactose is 4.7%, ash is 0.7%, energy is 74 kilocalories. For water buffalo, water is 82.8%, fat is 7.4%, casein is 3.2%, whey proteins are 0.6%, lactose is 4.8%, ash is 0.8%, energy is 101 kilocalories. For goats, water is 86.7%, fat is 4.5%, casein is 2.6%, whey proteins are 0.6%, lactose is 4.3%, ash is 0.8%, energy is 70 kilocalories. For sheep, water is 82.0%, fat is 7.2%, casein is 3.9%, whey proteins are 0.7%, lactose is 4.9%, ash is 0.9%, energy is 102 kilocalories. Now for some more exotic examples, reindeer milk has only 66.7% water, but a whopping 18% fat, 8.6% casein, 1.5% whey proteins, 2.8% lactose, 1.5% ash, and a massive 214 kilocalories of energy. Horse milk has 88.8% water, 1.9% fat, 1.3% casein, 1.2% whey proteins, 6.2% lactose, 0.5% ash, and 52 kilocalories. Rabbit milk has 67.2% water, 15.3% fat, 9.3% casein, 4.6% whey proteins, 2.1% lactose, 1.8% ash, and 202 kilocalories. And finally, camel milk has 86.5% water, 4.0% fat, 2.7% casein, 0.9% whey proteins, 5.0% lactose, 0.8% ash, and 70 kilocalories. This wonderful comparative data comes from Jennes and Sloan, published in Dairy Science Abstracts in 1970. Thank you. See you in the next class. Author Mootechie.